Okay, another Nam Academy. So I was asked an excellent question around emotions and how frequently can a person tap, and it really goes to the heart of what are emotions. And this very quick video is really about how all of these techniques work with emotions. So let's say you're upset. Let's say you're angry, or you have anxiety. I hear this lots. People say anxiety is not going away. I'm just angry and nothing I do makes a difference. I hear that lots. Nothing I do make the difference. I'm upset. And so the thing about emotions is they're not ever just one thing. At Nam we talk a lot about the pyramid or the iceberg. So every emotion, the tip of the iceberg might be anger, but like everyone knows, under the water the iceberg is really big. So big that a big ship can think it's far away from the iceberg, but actually underneath it's very big, and it hits, and many ships have sunk because of that. Titanic and others, right? So the reality is anger at the top, you think, oh, it's just anger. I'm just a little angry. But actually there's other things. There's maybe shame, maybe there's fear, maybe there's tension, maybe there's worry. There's all sorts of emotions underneath the surface. So that's the emotion iceberg. But the question was, how many times can I do tapping? And so let me illustrate to you that if you have emotion, the other thing we talk a lot about is the onion. Where's my healing onion? I usually have a little poster with the onion. But basically, every emotion, so let's take this. It's actually just like an onion, it has the layers. It has layers. Many layers. So when people think of any emotion, they are really, they are not one layer. It's many layers. And why is that important? It's because that's why it's not going away. Is because it's not that simple. There's a lot more to that emotion than just get rid of it. For example, some emotions like anger, breath of fire is really good for. But other emotions, maybe like fear or shame, it might not be as fast. And so when you do tapping, all of the meridian points, they have to do with different emotions. So the question is should you just tap once? And the answer is, every emotion has a layer. So when you do any technique, let's say you do one round of tapping, both sides, you might take care of this layer with tapping. That's not working well. You might take care of this layer with tapping. The next layer, once you take care of this layer, you may feel better, but you might not feel better fully. It's not that it didn't work, it is that there's lots of layers. So if you do tapping again, it'll just take off another layer. So you're closer to getting and processing that emotion. Some layers don't respond that well to tapping. But typically tapping, because of the nature of all the points on the body, tapping can process a lot of emotion. So some people, they tap several times to get rid of an emotion. So you can do it 3 times, you can do it 4 times. But the thing is, there's some emotions, they don't get better with tapping. Some emotions, they need some spirituality. They need some thought or some prayer or something. Or maybe others, they need the breath. Maybe this next layer won't do any good with tapping, but with breathing it'll get better. Maybe fire breathing. Maybe fire breathing will get rid of this layer. Maybe this next layer will be prayer. Or meditation. Maybe that's going to help with this layer. And maybe the next layer, it'll be walking in nature. So the thing is every emotion has layers. Different parts of the iceberg may need different techniques or things to process them. A lot of people come and see me then and they say, oh, I was really angry, I tried to pray, I didn't feel any better. And after doing a lot of that in their life, they come to the conclusion God's not listening, or God doesn't exist, or something like that. And I'm not here to tell you anything about that, but what works really well for someone like that is that sometimes those outer layers of those emotions, they need something somatic like tapping. I always tell people, before you meditate, do tapping. It softens the emotional shell. Before you go to AA meeting, maybe some of these may need a meeting. Maybe some of the layers may need a meeting.
And last layer with the loss.
Last layer with a loss. So the thing is that we learn all these techniques, but we have to remember that they don't all work all the time for everything. Because our body and mind is complex, it takes different things. But one thing we know is that tapping brings a lot of people in their body, and it's really, really good to do. Sometimes you need to tap 3-4 times in a row, and you can get calm enough. But then go and do something else on top of that, and it'll work even better. So if you are into meditating, then meditate. But let's say you're sitting in meditation and just upset, nothing. Don't waste your time. If you sit and you meditate and you're breathing and it's not working, don't just sit there and do the same thing. Go change it. Go do tapping. Let that so I do that. Sometimes I do lots of prayers and meditation, but sometimes I'm just really upset. Sometimes prayer, last meditation it may take 5, 10, 20 minutes to get, but tapping could get rid of it in like a minute. And then I can have a much better meditation and prayer. When you have addiction, mental health problem, you have to think strategy like that. You have to think like that. Okay, I have 15 minutes for my practice today. How do I make it the best 15 minutes possible? I strongly suggest do tapping, or do breath of fire, or do long breath, long deep breathing, heart breathing. Get in your body and then do your prayer or do your meditation. And you'll get more in those few minutes than you would if you just do what your parents always told you and just keep hitting your head against a wall. A lot of people, they don't have daily practice, they journal, and journaling makes them upset. Journaling is no good if it's just making you upset. You're better. Maybe if journaling is making you upset, you need to do some tapping or some breathing or some meditating, and then you journal. And you'll get more out of it in the same half hour. We have to work hard and smart together. So the question that I got originally was, how many times can I tap? Tap as much as you like. It takes about 2 minutes to do tapping. Everyone has 2 minutes. No one bothers you in the bathroom. So, and no one will bother you for a good, maybe after 10 minutes they'll start bothering you. Where is this guy? But no one really will bother you for 10 minutes. So just go do 5 rounds of tapping. Or do 1-2 rounds of tapping and then do a little bit of breath of fire. Or do a bit of a tapping and then go do a das or some prayer. Mix it, learn your body, learn your mind, learn what works for you, and then you will find that you are more able to manage the stress of your life. Remember that you build stress as time goes on. As time goes on, the day goes on, your stress level is rising, whether and you don't know it. It's rising, and you don't know it. So when you feel it, chances are it's been building for a couple of hours. So you do these techniques, bring it down, but as soon as you do the tapping, you're calm, you started to build the tension up again. So early, especially early on in recovery, you have to schedule these things in like a meditation and bring your stress down. I usually tell people, schedule tapping 3 times a day. Like a medication, like a pill. Schedule breathing. Schedule short things that you can do to bring down the subconscious stress. And then you'll find that you actually don't feel as stressed out. You won't have as much panic or anger or other things. So this is one of the secrets of a daily practice. And this is a very good question. And I think I will leave it at that.
Should we tap here at one point?
Okay, so now the question is, how many times should we tap here at one point? That's a good question. What they say, the people who kind of learn this technique, they say 15. 15. But I say whatever works for your body. So I don't really count. I know Vaheguru, that's what I do when I tap. Vaheguru, and I say Vaheguru 4 times. So that's 16 times. So I don't count the number of times I tap, I count my mantra.
Can we do flash at the same time?
Some people find that very helpful. So they tap at one point, and then, so the question is, can you do flash at the same time? Yeah, so you can tap, and then just pause, stop the tapping, triple blink, and then go to the next point. Some people can find it makes them bothered, but most people find it relaxes them. So you can actually...
I do like एक ओंकार सतनाम करता हूँ नरवाव निर्वाण काल मूल जुनी सरपंच and then flash.
Good.
Keep tapping. It helps me.
Good. That's perfect. So he's saying he does half his mantra, triple blinks, and then continues the other half. Great.
I do like twice at the one point.
Flash is so good because Flash can process many of these layers immediately. That's why we always teach Flash, is because Flash can process, and tapping. Flash and tapping together process a lot of layers very quickly. That's why we like Flash and tapping. And they work in different ways. So if you find combining them works, then great. If you find both of them work but not together, then do them separate. So that's great. Good job. I'm glad you're... See, I never taught you that, but you figured it out because you have vast intelligence. All of you do. If you're a human, you have vast intelligence. Doesn't mean if you're a criminal, if you've done bad things, if you hurt people, you still have vast intelligence. So it's just about bringing it out. So that's great. Good job. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. That's the...
Thank you.